Hi, everybody. This is Mary Hollywood. Thank you so much for meeting us at the Crossroads. Before we get started, I wanted to give a huge shout out to my patrons, Victoria, Kim, and Jenny. Thanks to you, I have a brand new microphone, so I will be sounding a lot better from now on. I love you girls so much, and I'm so happy to have you guys join us on this road less traveled that we will be embarking on. So, today I wanted to talk a little bit about what it is exactly that we are trying to do. At a time where our country is so polarized, everybody is crying out for unity. And I think that it's so silly, to think that we can unite under anything at this point. There's no such thing as unity without equality for all or justice for all. So to think that we can somehow unite uh, is a little bit naive, in my opinion. But I feel that there's more than that. Throughout this primary season, following along very closely, I feel that there's a huge disconnect between the government and the people. And what I mean by that is that everybody seems to, criticize and blame the government without taking into account that what we have is a reflection of who we are, whether we like it or not, whether it's a literal representation of us or it's a representation of the feelings that guide our American culture. So, because we are so polarized, it seems that in the political arena, it's so difficult to have an open and honest dialogue. It seems like everyone picked their sides, so you're either red or blue, left or right, liberal or conservative, and that's it. There's no agreements that could be made if you step outside of whatever team that you've chosen. So, what we wanted to do is take this conversation to a different arena. You see, in most countries, it's normal for people to talk about politics and discuss, whatever it is that is ailing their country and the role of government, the role of, its citizens. And from the very beginning, Americans have been trained to never discuss politics. And what this has done is that it has, first of all, allowed government to do whatever it wants without our input. And now that we are trying to get back into it and participate, it brings up a huge level of toxicity. And then again, that pushes everybody else away because ain't nobody want to have anything to do with that. So, going back to what we want to do is trying to have the same conversation, but with a different perspective in a different place, a place where we all meet, a place that it doesn't matter who you are, what you believe in, you participate, and we all can somehow relate and have things in common. And this led us to the road, okay, to traffic. I think one thing we can all agree on is that traffic sucks. And Los Angeles has the worst traffic in the country. So there's a lot that we can talk about and I think probably agree on in this area. My husband and I have been driving for Lyft and Uber and, Postmates, all of those gigs that you can do, trying to survive. And we have spent a lot of time on the road in traffic and talking to a million different people from every background imaginable. So I think we have a little bit of a foundation to have these discussions and bring a different perspective to this conversation. Something very interesting that happens when we step foot out on the road is that we reveal who we really are. And the reason why that happens, well, first is because we have a huge shield all around us that empowers us and protects us, that being our vehicle. No one ever really knows, who is inside that car. And this kind of anonymity gives us a lot of power. And besides that, I think the fact of being in constant movement, to be able to just make a turn or, speed off whenever something happens is also very empowering and gives us some kind of freedom to do things that maybe we wouldn't do if we had to stop and face this other person in the car or whatever, if it's a pedestrian. It's almost like, when we're online, right? Behind the computer, it's most people feel very empowered to say things that they most likely would never do if they were face to face with that other person. So when we go back and we think about, how that reveals who we really are, the results aren't very positive for the most part. Accidents, mostly road incidents, are the third cause of death in the United States, falling behind only to heart disease and cancer. We have 6 million car accidents per year. Out of those, 3 million people are injured and 2 million people are injured permanently, without talking about the worst number of all, which is 30,000 people who die as a result of these accidents. Alcohol, speeding, reckless and distracted driving are the typical causes. Now, in that, we have to stop and we have to think about this for a second, because if we're talking about accidents, we have to see what an accident actually means to see if we're using the right terminology. An accident is something that is completely out of our control, right? Usually there's nothing one could have done differently in order to avoid an accident. But if we are talking about, alcohol, reckless driving and speeding, there's nothing accidental about those things, right? Those are incidents, which means that somebody played a major role into a decision or a lack of a decision that he or she took, and it directly affected another person or persons. So there's a big lack of accountability on this part if we are to think of the number of accidents that we have that really are not accidents, are road incidents. I feel that a lot of people don't care as much because they can always fall back on insurance, right? Insurance covers everything. You can get your brand new car, you can get whatever damage is covered. But the last time I checked, I don't know of an insurance company that covers resurrection, right? Once somebody dies, that's it. And I don't think that there's a price that we can put on somebody's life. We need to have a much better response from our authorities in regards to this and how we treat these accidents, so that we can actually start preventing them in a more significant way. Who's holding our government accountable from the incidents that are directly linked to our public policies? Who's driving our country, and to what direction are they leading us to? Once there's a lack of leadership, We have to lead ourselves. What we're suggesting here is for us to take the wheel, for us to forge a new path for our country, one in which we put the needs and the well-being of the people before any special interest, which is the complete opposite of what we have in our government right now. If anything was made clear from the coronavirus pandemic, is our interdependence. Americans love to talk about independence. We have plagued the word dependence, but I'm afraid we don't really understand what interdependence is. How each and every single one of us plays a significant role in order to help our society thrive. So I want each and every one of us to better understand this and do whatever it is that we do in an honest, honorable fashion, because we are all pieces of a puzzle, and this puzzle is almost complete. It's up to us to put it all together. So in the next episodes, I'm going to dive deeper into different aspects of how we behave out on the road, all the exterior factors and the interior factors that play a role, and how there's a lot more that unites us instead of dividing us. But we have to get out of this partisan trap that we have fallen under, and we have to unite as people, as citizens, not of any party. So I hope that you will stick around and follow us through this journey. I'm not sure where it's going to take us exactly, but I just want to put something into motion, see where it may lead us, give us some sort of direction, give us some sort of empowerment, connection. And I hope that you guys will join us along the way. Thank you so much, and I will meet you again at the Crossroads.